runs 110 versus Australia 1994, runs 115 versus New Zealand 1994, runs 105 versus West Indies 1994, runs 112 not out versus Sri Lanka 1995, runs 127 not out versus Kenya 1996, runs 137 versus Sri Lanka 1996, runs 100 versus Pakistan 1996, runs 118 versus Pakistan 1996, runs 110 versus Sri Lanka 1996, runs 114 versus South Africa 1996, runs 104 versus Zimbabwe 1997, runs 117 versus New Zealand 1997, runs 100 versus Australia 1998, runs 143 versus Australia 1998, runs 134 versus Australia 1998, runs 100 not out versus Kenya 1998, runs 128 versus Sri Lanka 1998, runs 127 not out versus Zimbabwe 1998, runs 141 versus Australia 1998, runs 118 not out versus Zimbabwe 1998, runs 124 not out versus Zimbabwe 1998, runs 140 not out versus Kenya 1999, runs 120 versus Sri Lanka 1999, runs 186 not out versus New Zealand 1999, runs 122 versus South Africa 2000, runs 101 versus Sri Lanka 2000, runs 146 versus Zimbabwe 2000, runs 139 versus Australia 2001, runs 122 not out versus West Indies 2001, runs 101 versus South Africa 2001, runs 146 versus Kenya 2001, runs 105 not out versus England 2002, runs 113 versus Sri Lanka 2002, runs 152 versus Namibia 2003, runs 100 versus Australia 2003, runs 102 versus New Zealand 2003, runs 141 versus Pakistan 2004, runs 123 versus Pakistan 2005, runs 100 versus Pakistan 2006, runs 141 not out versus West Indies 2006, runs 100 not out versus West Indies 2007, runs 117 not out versus Australia 2008, runs 163 not out versus New Zealand 2009, runs 138 versus Sri Lanka 2009, runs 175 versus Australia 2009, runs 200 not out versus South Africa 2010, runs 120 versus England 2011, runs 111 versus South Africa 2011, runs 114 versus Bangladesh 2012. Do you think whose innings is best? Please comment below.